this is just what it is. What I'm explaining to you is what it is. And and I believe that people need to reckon with the reality of the situation. Again, I can't emphasize how much the one state thing is impossible from the Israeli perspective.
I've lost my 14 years old daughter, Smada, in a Hamas suicide bombing in Jerusalem.
שאתה כותב בעיתונים. תמיד היית יפה ואל תגיד שלא כי ראיתי תמונות.
She was very beautiful, she was a swimmer, she was a dancer, she was amazing. Everybody used to call her the princess. She was killed because she was Jewish.
I lost my 10 years old daughter, Abir. Israeli border police shot and killed her in front of her school. She had a very short life. The pain is there 24 hours. So it's up to you how to use this pain.
My name is Bassam Aramin. I'm proud to call this ex-enemy, this man, is my brother. Because we are fighting together, we are struggling together to release the Palestinians from the occupation and to release the Israelis from their own occupation, to be oppressors. If you live in Palestine and Israel, unfortunately, you have no safe place for yourself. It's not in the same level in Israel like Palestine, but still, if you survive, it's by chance. Every day you need to say, Alhamdulillah, that I survive, which is not a normal situation. It's very painful that you cannot protect yourself and you cannot protect your kids.
It was 17 years ago. I was standing aside, very detached and reluctant. Then I saw something which was completely new to me, to my eyes, my mind, my soul. I was standing there watching the Palestinian bereaved families coming down from the buses, walking towards me, shaking my hand for peace, hugging me, crying with me, and I was completely shocked. You see, I was 47 years old at the time. And until today, I am ashamed to admit it was the first time ever in my life I've met Palestinians as human beings. Not as workers in the streets, not as terrorists, not as transparent people, as human beings, people who carry the same burden that I carry, people who suffer exactly like I suffer. And I was so deeply moved.
In all Israeli school books, and there are hundreds of them, you don't find one photo of a Palestinian human being. You find racist representations of caricatures of Ali Baba and a camel, primitive farmers following oxen, or terrorists. Never a teacher, a writer, a child, nothing. When you talk, for example, about Israeli culture, Palestinian Israeli writers, poems, musicians are not included in this discourse, although they are Israeli. When you talk about Israeli science, you don't mention Palestinian Israeli scientists. They have succeeded very well to create an atmosphere where these people, although they are there, do not exist.
There is no occupation, there are no Palestinians, the whole country is ours and we inhabit it. They don't exist, but they do learn that anti-Semitism is worldwide, that anyone who is not Jewish is a Jew hater, that we must keep a Jewish majority. So, non-Jewish minorities will not grow and become genocidal, that we should never trust anybody but ourselves, and so on and so forth. You see? It's not that they learn anything about the neighbors. They only learn that the neighbors, very abstractly, are dangerous. That's all.
They exist only as a threat. Now, as a threat or developmental problem, as they say, or demographic threat, they must be confined, they must be distanced. And this legitimates the occupation and the military government and so on. And then, since they are such a terrible problem, why not kill them? Why not eliminate them?
You told me once you went on like a mission with them to like a terrorist city.
Yeah.
That was kind of a crazy story.
Yeah, my officers and like the soldiers in that brigade, they would go every night on a raid in Ramallah to arrest terrorists.
Our trip begins in Ramallah, the de facto capital of the Palestinian territories. While most Palestinians consider Jerusalem their rightful capital, so do the Israelis. And sharing the city seems unlikely for now. That leaves Ramallah to host the Palestinian government and international agencies. A native of Ramallah, Christina Ghanim worked as an assistant producer on the Palestinian documentary Speed Sisters. And she's co-founder of Ken's Woman, the first Palestinian lingerie company. Ruwa is 11, and her passion is the circus. It's a temporary escape from the difficulties of living under occupation.
When she knows that there is a circus school, she was really interested in the idea. She's telling me, I can't imagine my life without circus.
These individual activities are a way to get positive energy in order to continue our life as normal human being. Our life is really tough, and this is affecting our children.
Ramallah is the epicenter of Palestinian life. Cafes, pubs, lounges, hipster joints and clubs are all within easy reach. Many residents are restricted here and cannot travel to nearby cities. So Ramallah has become a sort of hotspot for socializing.
Like, my biggest fear driving to Jerusalem is to make a mistake on the road, because like you can't make the wrong turn and end up like somewhere you're not wanted.
Yeah.
So that's why I've always had so much like anxiety about going there. I feel like
that's so crazy.
It's ingrained. It's ingrained anxiety, like the subconscious. You don't even.
It happened recently that a Israeli.
It always happens.
Couple or dudes went on the wrong road and they were murdered. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, it's very dangerous to go down the wrong road there. People think that I'm being like racist or something when I say that. I think if you, as an Israeli, go to Ramallah, they'll kill you.
What do you mean you think?
I think that
That's
I'm saying
fact.
if you go there as Israeli, you take the turn there, you'll be died. They'll kill you.
It's not only killed; it's like lynched. It's a brutal death.
I think right now, especially, the thing is in Ramallah, there's a lot of, there's going to be like Hamas operatives and Islamic jihadists and stuff that live there. So I don't even know necessarily if it's like the ordinary people, but yeah, they will kill you.
I just got out of the bathroom. What did I miss? Am I going to have a shitty weekend?
I said, if you turn it into Ramallah as an Israeli, you will die.
Oh. No, keep it going.
I mean, I'm just going to say it.
Keep it going, Zach.
How do we get on this topic? I don't know.
The Palestinians' attempt to make Israel the sole responsible for the results of the war lacks any moral basis. When you go to war, you cannot lament your defeat. Okay? Or the Arabs brought it upon themselves, for they fought the Jews to perdition. It's their fault. Okay? They are to blame. There's something that we call moral abstraction. You take the action as you make it moral by abstracting it from the context. The massacre of Kibbia is moralized by being defined as Israeli reaction to Arab hostility. Okay, and that's it. Or somebody even say a proper response. And then you have questions. What was the expression of Arab hostility? Do you think Israel's reaction was effective and justified? So the children are trained to justify it. These are more questions. 50 Egyptians were killed, 40 were taken prisoner, the greatest operation since the War of Independence. In what way can such a headline influence the morale of Israeli citizens? Okay? And why did Israel choose the way of reprisals, though it involved the killing of innocent people? And this is very important. Nobody wants to kill innocent people, and every Israeli will tell you that. Every soldier will tell you that. Our hand is stretched for peace, but they make it impossible for us not to kill them, okay? And this is it. Although it involved the killing of innocent people, this is not the main thing. This is not the main thing. This is a side effect. Unnecessary, we don't like it, but this is not the main thing. What is the overall claim? Positive outcome for us may condone or overlook evil done to them. Or so much pain inflicted of them is intolerable if it prevents a much greater pain for us. So Israeli school books command the students to forget the other drama, the thought of the victims, because we never had testimony of the victims and their circumstances, and look ahead of massacres and other catastrophes to the favorable consequences for the Jews, for the nation. They teach the students the discourse of power of politician and of general, but put at stake the disciplinary politics of truth, because this is not how historians write. Okay, so as I told you before, the facts are not the most important thing, and they produce what is called elite racism. It's racism that comes from above. These people are problems, these people are threats, these people are not people, really. So we can do what we have to do.
A very aggressive, traumatizing Holocaust education in Israel serves to perpetuate revenge. But the revenge is not against the Germans. We are friends with the Germans. It's against the potential exterminators, who are the Palestinians. And if you listen to speeches by the Prime Minister on Holocaust Day, they always conflate Palestinians and Arabs in general with the Nazis. And then the children at the age of 16 are going to Auschwitz and Treblinka, wrapped with an Israeli flag, and they come back full of zeal to kill. And this education really prepares them to see every Palestinian, no matter what age, as a threat to be killed. Now, if you read the Confessions of Soldiers in Breaking the Silence book, you see that many of them say the same thing. They say, I was educated to believe that everything I do to Palestinians will prevent another Holocaust. Only when my rifle was aimed at a little girl did I understand who is evil and who is... So this education is so strong and so sophisticated. For example, I give you an example. A history book that prepares a student for matriculation has a chapter, and also in the exam it was the same thing, that's called The Formation of Holocaust Remembrance. And in this chapter they tell you about Palestinian terrorist actions in Munich, in Entebbe, in here and there, and they say these actions made it easier for Israelis to identify with Holocaust survivors. So this kind of Nazification. Now, all these terrorist attacks that were in response to occupation are presented again as anti-Semitic, heinous crimes out of the blue against innocent Jews.
So many people in Israel just feel like it's an existential threat. It's just this, everybody wants us dead. That's how we grow up. I grew up like that. All of our borders, they all want us dead.
Rockets are always coming over.
I was afraid to go on a bus as a child.
And again,
it's like that's your life. You're under threat all the time. My generation's grandparents are people that survived the Holocaust, and they escaped to Israel to start a country for Jewish people because they were, we all know the Holocaust. They were all, butchered. And what happened this time is a really scary reminder to all of us Jewish people. And that's how I feel, at least, that it's a reminder. The Holocaust wasn't that long ago. And every year on Holocaust Day, the thing they tell you is never forget. You always have to tell the stories to everybody about what happened at the Holocaust. And it's always like something taken for granted for me. You just grow up and you're like, yeah, Holocaust Day, it happened, we all get it. But what happened this time is really scary, and it really does bring up this topic. And
see, I don't think that you can even say something like that without starting a debate, and I don't think that's right. One state is not going to happen, and I don't think it's a realistic idea either. Sorry. I think it's kind of silly to even pretend like that's not just a genocide of the Jews there. There frankly are a lot of Palestinians, right, in the area. And once the Palestinians outnumber the Jews, basically anything is fair game for the Jews. Anything. And I'm sorry, but Hamas, the governing fucking body there, wants to kill all the fucking Jews. It's just not.
The thing is that a lot of times when people say from the river to the sea, what they actually mean is no place for the Jewish people there.